Hi, I'm Stanley.
Tito.
And you're on the grey couch. And on the grey couch, we say that life is not black or white, but many shades of grey that we get to explore to be better individuals in better marriages. And speaking of better, if you watched last week, it still was all about the respect. And I promised I was going to get her a t-shirt that said respect for now. But we'll be back next week. And next week, I'll try and get Tito a t-shirt that says respect.
I'll wear it any day. What's that song? What's that?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. No, let me. That's it for you guys. That's what you guys show the goods. Anyway, so when Otito was talking last week, she mentioned something that we wanted to talk a little bit more on, and how the respect she was talking about was not the respect that quote unquote counselors normally tell wives to give their husband. She was talking about a different type of respect, and that is something that's like, what exactly do you mean there? And I wanted us to probe deep, and we did a little bit of probing. And the question that I really asking her is, all right, this type of respect where she mentioned just respect for the individual, the individual that God had made. And it's like I said, okay, in what ways have I, shown you disrespect, as an individual? Not that we're fighting or anything, but I just want to know, as in, if you've seen this, have I expressed any of this stuff?
I mean, it's interesting because, when you live with somebody day in, day out, it's kind of hard to say, because I feel like, you don't want to nitpick. It's one of those things where if it happens, you just say it. But I think one of the quickest ones that people would probably pick out on, or speaking for myself, would be not listening to the person, basically, right? It's kind of everyone wants to be heard and listened to. So when you feel like somebody's not hearing what you're saying or not listening, it's like, are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you listening? And then when it now is obvious that the person didn't hear what you said, you're like, and you really expect me to repeat it again, or things like that, right? So going around in, those kind of listening circles sometimes can be just like, nah.
Okay, that's a good point. And I can't argue with that point, because a lot of distractions when I'm listening, and I guess the illusion that I can multitask. And I'm sure listening to you, but I'm doing something else. All right, so I'm going to flip the script and say one way in which that you have shown me respect. That's how I've shown respect. Me to show respect is a lot of times I think that you will have an idea, and you have an idea that is actually more efficient. Let me use that word. I don't use the word better. More efficient, and you're like, okay, let's try it your way out first, and we'll see. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, we will now try it my way. And I have to say, I was going to say 9, but let me say 8, since we're on camera. 8 times out of 10, we'll have to come around and eventually do it your way for said, because it was just more efficient and a better way of doing things, And for the longest time, I won't read that if the shoe were on the other foot, I would have just said, you know what, I know this is not going to work. Let's just skip that. Let's, what they say, jump the past goal and get to the end of the matter, where we're going with my way, since my way is going to work out. I mean, I think it shows some humility and a lot of patience to say, okay, let's try it your way. I can see this, I don't think it's going to pan out, but let's try it your way. So I wanted to let you know that I appreciate that. And then in recent times, you can attest that, like, I might now try and default to your way, even though that causes its own set of problems, which will not have time to debunk, or not debunk, analyze. Okay.
So, because I was going to say that, how is that working out for you, right? And what is I think that it's easy to say that now because you've been with the person for long and you kind of worked your way around, but that, what you just described, the scenario you just described, could cause a lot of issues for people, because it's like, they don't listen, why they're not going my way, or not, I don't want to say my way, but it's like, if the pattern has shown, right, that the person, we always have to kind of come back to the better method or the better decision or the better way, then why do you have to keep going around in circles? What is the lesson that is being learned there? Like you said, humility for one person, patience for one person, but then what about the other party? What is the thing that the person is learning? Is it learning to know how to make better decisions, learning to know how to, like, what's the lesson learned there, and how would you advise another person in a marriage to know what to do when it's their own turn?
I don't know specifically. I'm not sure a lesson is translated. There typically, with my decision, have been some ego because the idea, so I'm the man and let's try my way out 1st. However, they say that you can either learn something by your experience or you can learn something from another person's experience, and this has been for me. I was tired of learning it in my way. So, okay, let me use another person's experience, and they've done this. Let me not reinvent the wheel, as it were. And I found it's a lot more efficient way. So that's my take on it. For another person, everybody learns differently. Everybody learns differently. What I would say that my regret, if I can use the word regret, is that the time spent, in the wilderness, if I can use that expression for those of us that are Christians, spending those wandering and meandering in the wilderness, time, money, emotions spent just going back and we're just wondering, could all that have been truncated and just, gets to the end point? I don't know. My last thought is, you had said something also when we were talking that if we had been in Nigeria, we're not sure we would have made it this long. My question is, how has respect helped our marriage, in your opinion? I'll let you go first and I'll go on my next.
I mean, I guess it's that I would say identity thing, knowing that each person is their own person, which is why I said if we were in Nigeria, it would have been different because Nigerians don't know how to let people be their own person. We're not used to it culturally. In that sense, we're used to just, as they say, putting our mouths in people's business. It's just part of our way of being. No, I don't know that is necessarily a bad thing, but people have to learn how to kind of stand and be their own person. So I think that kind of comes into play here as well, right? In terms of knowing that your partner is their own person, even though you're together, right, in the union, which I have to say it's interesting because it sounds easy on paper, but it can be really hard because it's like, oh, I thought we were supposed to do this together, or I thought we were supposed to do that together, or why we're not doing this together, and things like that. So there's always that mixing sometimes of thinking, we should be in this together. And not that you shouldn't be, right? Because sometimes that's why I said it's easy on paper to say. Not that you shouldn't be, but at the same time, recognize that, even though it says the two have become one, it's not talking about enmeshment, it's talking about additivity, right? In that sense, so additivity means you're bringing together the individuality to kind of make a more wholesome, entity, as opposed to subsuming one person into the other, right? So, I see it.
So for me, the respect has really learned from anywhere, and not that pride thing that it has to flow from the top down, which is what I was taught coming up. It has to come from up and that. No, and there are many more sources down than up. There are many more areas where you can learn from. So as opposed to having one unitary source, you have multiple streams of knowledge coming in, and you have a bigger hole for it. So that's just appreciating that in the marriage, and also seeing that play out in other places is something that I'm enjoying. So
tell you one of the ways that you can, build respect. I already said reflective listening, right? Empathetic tone, like if you're talking to the other person, like one of them is listening, one of them is talking, empathetic tone. And then if you want to use the moniker of respect, then S is seeing the other person. We talked about, seeing the divine in the other person, right? And then the P is prioritizing. You kind of prioritize the other person. And then an E will kind of think about embracing the fact that the relationship is important, right? You want to embrace that fact. And then C would be communication, because that is the bedrock of everything. Just knowing how to really, we've talked about it many times here in terms of what we call active constructive communication, just staying in a place of like active communication, and not just avoiding or not wanting to speak with the person and engage, you know. And
T would be trust.
Yeah. So
that's what we have for you. We're going to leave you with these thoughts about how about you?
How do you build respect?
How do you build respect? What has how has respect helped your marriage, if it has helped, or how can it help your marriage if it's not there yet? Thanks so much for sticking with us to the end. It's always a pleasure to have you guys join us on the couch. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe